Alrighty, folks. One of the things that I thoroughly enjoy Sunday morning is getting to know people inside my school community. We're going to talk with Drew, who is 23. Shout out Gen Z. He got his first deal at 20, currently has 4, and looking to build a long-term rental portfolio. We're going to talk about how he got started, where he's at, where he's going, and let's just have a fun conversation. How you doing, Drew?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on here. Like I said, I'm 23 right now. I'm still growing in the long-term industry, and I got started actually by mowing lawns. So in high school, I had a little lawn care business, and um, all the landlords in the area would hire me as their lawn care provider. And so as I got older through high school, it just made sense. Everyone who seemed to have money owned all these rental houses. So everything just kind of clicked. Well, why not do that industry? Um,
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So again, you were you were in the trades or the service industry. You were doing some lawn care maintenance for other landlords, and just being in that circle, there was some kind of unlock at a very young age that, hey, the people that have the money have the assets. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, well, it unlocked that, and it unlocked every contact to every landlord. So I had direct contact with the landlords. And so at the end of my high school career, I ended up selling the lawn care company. And luckily, one of the landlords, his kid was graduating high school, and he was moving to Florida.
Mm.
And so he offered me the opportunity to buy one of his rentals. And so that's what kind of started my era into the rental industry. Looking back, I wish I would have bought every property he had, but I just wanted to start with one, and it was a small office building,
Okay.
600 square foot.
So wow, your first purchase wasn't the traditional house or duplex. It was an office building. Was your first purchase?
Yeah, so it's a small nail salon,
Mm.
and it's only 515 a month for 600 square feet, but my mortgage is $128 a month, so
Oh my goodness.
it works out well for me.
Yeah, 100. So it's I'm guessing office building would be what they call in the industry triple net, meaning they're responsible for maintenance and all of those things.
Yes, and something that I didn't know, looking back, I didn't realize I like about the office building so much is that you have to keep your office clean.
Yes.
So, so every time I walk in there, it's perfectly clean. Everything is maintenance correctly, and it's a stress-free, worrisome property.
Very cool. So I'm curious, did you just get a traditional loan, or did the seller finance it for you, or how'd this go down?
On this scenario, it was a traditional loan, but I was required to put 30% down on the property.
Wow. I'm curious where you got the loan from, because again, a payment of sub 150, that's an awful small loan.
It's a small loan. Luckily, I have a good relationship with the banker, and he's a family friend as well. So having a great relationship with a small banker who really knows you really helped me in my scene.
Yeah. So like a community bank or a small branch or something. Okay.
Yep, small branch.
Makes perfect sense. Okay. So you dip your toe in, you find a deal. It was occupied, obviously, it sounds like, right? It was occupied. So that's always good. Where does this, and you were 20 when you got this opportunity. Wow. All right. Impressive. Call me impressed. Where does the journey go from there?
So obviously once you get your first deal, you start telling everyone about it. And so everyone knows about this, about me at this point. And I have a friend whose parents, who's now my partner, and me and him came together, and we own a partnership now. And we bought both of his parents' rentals for very undervalued. We got a very lucky situation, and the appraisals came back well. And so now we had all this cross collateralization we could use to start looking for other deals. And so that's how we've been starting to grow now, is we have to buy at under market value.
Yeah, I think, and again, I think if you've heard me talk, I think we're in a buyer's market where creativity, it takes work, right? It's never easy, but the more offers you write, the more likely you're going to find a motivated seller. I guess I didn't hear, where are you investing? What state, what city, where are you at?
Yeah. So I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, north of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Small towns. And then a property that we actually just sold. We had 5, and we just sold one. It was in a small college town called Northwest Missouri State University. It's a D2 college school.
Mm.
And we had that for 2 years and had just sold that.
Was that a student rental or just another long-term rental?
It was a student rental. It's over a year, so we consider it long-term.
Mhm.
But the numbers for per bedroom count just make sense for the price point.
Yeah, would make sense.
Mhm.
So these other 2 houses you picked up from your partner's parents, are these just traditional long-term rentals? Are you doing midterm rentals, or what are we doing?
They're long-term rentals. They're long-term rentals, and they're not in the best shape. So we've taken the stance on maybe stop expanding so quickly.
Mhm.
And so now we're in our first burr, even though we've owned the property for 2 years now. We're doing our first major renovations to it. The tenant just moved out after living there for 5 years.
Mm.
So we're going to better our assets before we move on to finding new ones. But we have started the process of looking for new assets. We just sent out 953 pieces of mail.
Wow.
And have started to get it's a 1% return so far, but we actually have 2 deals we're looking at today and tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm curious. So again, you're sending out mailers, 900 pieces of mail. I know that's a big thing. A lot of my big guys use Jason Pritchard, Omar, Adrian. The list goes on and on. Are you using like PropStream, or what? Where are you looking to find these lists?
So I have my real estate license. I got that 2 years ago. So I'm able to pull most of the data.
Okay.
And for Missouri, for Kansas City, I use it's a software called Remine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that has a mailing software you can use, and it's about $1 a piece of mail. So it
Yeah.
makes sense for us.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and send out 900, you get a 1%. That's 9 leads.
Mhm.
Jason Pritchard, you're in my school community, so again, he just dropped a couple of videos at level 2 that you really should watch. He is on the Mount Rushmore of real estate investors, in my opinion, right? The top 4. And he just gave us some gold that I think is right up your alley, how to run a professional business. He has his license too. So I see a lot of similarities, and you could do a lot worse than modeling yourself after Jason. And he just joined our school. He just joined school yesterday. So now he's in our community, so you can ping him as well. If you want an introduction, I could do that as well. But I think you're onto something. I want people to realize, you said 2 things earlier. You said, hey, we're gonna slow down, right? We're gonna improve the assets that we have now,
Mhm.
but you never stop marketing,
Mhm.
right? And that's something that Jason preaches all the time, and it's why he's crushing it now and having record months, because everybody else is pulling back. So that's a good thing. You got to watch your numbers and your returns and things like that. So don't just burn cash, but never stop looking, because you just never know how you can monetize a lead. And because you are an agent, there's lots of ways you can monetize a lead, even if it's just getting a listing. So good for you.
Yeah, it's been really helpful being a part of the school community too, because when I need advice on something, even the smallest of things, you reach out to these investors who have so much more experience than you, and they just give you different avenues that you never thought of before. So that was one of the things that made me continue spending the money on marketing and finding these leads, because if I don't buy the leads, I can wholesale the leads. And
Exactly.
it's something I never thought of, and I wouldn't have that without the community you built.
Yeah. The school community that we have going is amazing. It's almost 350 people now. I think we're 13 away. And we have folks at all levels, right? We have people obviously that could give advice to you, but let's be clear, Drew, I hope you're giving advice to others as well, right? There's a lot of people that are young that have none or want to get to one. I look forward to you helping others as well. That's the beauty of the community, is you can get help and also help others, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to see to take advice from someone who's already in the position you want to be, and then it's also interesting to take advice from someone who's having the current same struggles as you.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun being a part of that community.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of it. What are some lessons learned? Like you're obviously Gen Z. Um, what's some advice you have for Gen Z? Should they start doing the work? Should they just give up? There's a lot of noise out there in the world. What do you tell your friends, your other Gen Z cohorts, about the journey?
Yeah, it's really exactly what you preach, and it's just put in the time and the effort, and like I don't expect to be at the scenario at the end goal where I want to be unless it's 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. You just have to do it consistently. You got to commit to yourself and have a reason, have a why reason to do it.
Yeah, one of the things that I love that you're doing, and I saw it in your bio, right? When you joined school, you say a couple of words about yourself. Is you're doing exactly what I wish I did back when I started. Is you're documenting your journey, and let me just tell you, never stop that. Right. One of the things I could tell you after 24 years is I wish I could go back and look at myself at 31, at 32. These are the years when I started. I would love to have those videos. I would love to understand the mistakes and the journey. I would love to see a video, oh my God, I got my first eviction. What happened? And just see the beginning. So please don't stop that.
I appreciate it. I really, I'm slowly inching my way onto the media platform. But it's something I really look forward to doing and connecting with others and growing with others, especially my age and those having the same struggles as me.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it. I put up a post. I pinned a post. Shout out Renee for doing it. We now have that school map on the main page. That was pretty cool, huh?
Yes. And I was looking into it, and it's going to be interesting whenever, you're almost at 350 people. Well, it's going to be so fun to localize all the connections where I can really meet up with the investors in my area and grow my mentorship, really.
Yeah. Again, this is something I hope people do. I think it's only been like 8 hours. I think I only posted that thing like 9 hours ago. I think we're at 15 or 16 folks. I really do hope most of the people in school put in the location. Again, don't put your home address. Let's not be silly, but put a Starbucks, a McDonald's, whatever it is. Because again, it will foster that community. And I really do look for one rental at a time or at meetups becoming a real thing in 2025.
Yeah, it's something I would like to grow myself and be a part of it. Like I said, the more you're a part of the community, the more you dive into the community, opportunities just arise. At least in my experience. And that's something I really want to grow myself in.
Well, it's funny you bring this up because I know there's a lot of people in the community that buy or have talked about buying in St. Louis in your area. And again, one of the things that you could do is you could create a buyer's list or investor list. There's just so many folks that are doing the work. And if we can start to collaborate and again, you're already spending the marketing, you might as well monetize, the deals that come through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a whole nother business plan that I never even knew was in real estate before I started. So there's a lot of different avenues you can choose in real estate. Right now I'm just narrowed on one, and that's long-term rentals and growing a portfolio, but that's something definitely in the future that anyone can do. And it's a great way to get started and just join the community.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, join school, 67 cents a day. It's comical how cheap it is for all the value that we give every month. I'm curious, do you maybe have some questions for me?
Yes. Something that I've heard from a lot of investors is you need to do things or invest in things that allow you to sleep at night. And I thought I would ask you, what's something that keeps you up at night, and what are the biggest problems that you find yourself not being able to get sleep on?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to answer this one of a couple of different ways. So if you were to ask me that question today at 52, nothing keeps me awake at night. Just absolutely nothing. I mean, just the other day, for example, we had a fire at one of our apartment buildings, right? 2 units. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. But again, it's my third fire claim. So what do? I call my insurance company. I get a claim number. I connect them with my team on the ground because I don't live where I invest. And they're going out there and generating bids. And probably in 3 or 4 weeks, I'll get a check and we just do the remodel, right? The first time I had a fire claim, I still remember it. I was shaking in my boots. I had no idea what to happen. And, the second time it happened, it was like, okay, I think I know what's going on. I've had all kinds of evictions. I've had people steal from me. I've had deals blow up. Lots of, I've been sued, lots of crazy things. And at this point, nothing keeps me up at night. And really to that end, it's because I'm not pedal to the metal. I'm not in growth mode. right? I think that's the big thing. If I look back at when I was in growth mode, lots of things kept me up at night. It wasn't so much the operations, because I knew that was working and we had skin in the game. So I was always excited by the next day's opportunity to find a great deal. And that it's almost an addiction, right? When we were in growth mode, I was looking every day, likely multiple times a day. And I did stay up at night. I was kept awake by I wouldn't call it stress. I would probably call it excitement, the excitement of the next deal. And that's what I really believe is my superpower. And I didn't know it at the time, is a lot of people look at the daily execution and look backwards. It's like, oh my God, I've done it 30 days in a row. I wrote 50 offers. I've got nothing. I've never looked backwards. I always look forward. And I'm thinking about, like, this morning, I looked at the market. I'm already excited about tomorrow looking at the market, because I just fundamentally believe there are great deals out there. I have a list of things that I'm tracking and following up on. It's just a numbers game. So when I was growing in growth mode, I was so excited, especially once you prove, like, you had the POC, the proof of concept, you knew it was working. That is what excited me. And then the last thing is once I started borrowing private money, because again, when you go to a bank, there's just this kind of arm's length, it's not a person, right? It's an institution. But once I started borrowing millions and millions of dollars from private investors, even though it was all debt, it wasn't equity. There were some sleepless nights about that, because again, it's a lot of money from your friends. I borrowed, I think back in the day, $4 or $5 million, more recently, 3 or 4 million. And there's some, there's some stress there, but thankfully that's all behind me now. But yeah. And then in the very beginning, everything kept me awake, right? The first 5 years suck. Everything kept me awake. Like, I would be awake like on the 3rd of the month, and rent's due on the 5th, and be like, where's the rent? Where's the rent? Right? Oh my God, I got to pay these mortgages, blah, 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 blah. I mean, everything kept me awake in the beginning. But thankfully, 24 years later, nothing keeps me awake.
Yeah, that's a great position to be in. I have plenty of moments where I look back on, even today, a couple of years into real estate, and I have definitely stressed my life out more on something so small and narrow. You got to keep remembering that life moves on. Everything can be fixed, and things will resolve themselves with time. So,
at some point you've kind of seen it all, or at least been through it, and not only seen it all, but seen it all multiple times. And again, some of this is because I'm in chill mode. It's like, all right, the water heater broke. Oh, well, $1,500 or whatever it is. If I was in growth mode again, like one of the things that I'm anticipating potentially doing in 2026 is selling single family homes and 1031ing into apartments. I might be able to repeat what we did in our first book, one rental at a time. I'll be stressed out, because again, if you don't know 1031s, they have a clock, right? So if I go into heavy sell buy mode, that will keep me awake, right? So if I kind of flip from chill mode to growth mode, that will keep me up, but I'm not there today.
Yeah, I'm actually experiencing my first 1031 exchange time restraint right now. I just sold a property on November 6th. I had 5, just sold 1. And so luckily, 2 days ago, I got 2 people contacting me through my mail.
Oh, nice.
And so we've got, like I said, later today, we're looking at 2 of those properties and hopefully determining a contract that we might be able to work out. They're great properties and exactly what we're looking for. So worst comes to worst, if I don't hit the limit of 45 days, I will. I'm in such a small tax bracket right now that I'm in
pay the taxes.
Yeah, I'm in the 0% long-term capital gains. I mean, I'll have to pay just the state tax. But
yeah, and again, that you actually don't even know it, but you just said something really wise that I've seen a lot of experienced people blow up. A lot of people get into a 1031 exchange, and they will frankly do a bad 1031 exchange. Don't do that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with paying taxes if you can't find a great deal,
Hmm.
especially if you're in a 0% federal tax bracket for capital gains.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wise advice. You're wise for your young age. That's pretty cool. I am curious. You're at 23. You started at 20. Like, where would you want to be at 30? Where do you want to be at 30?
Well, my original plan, I knew I've always been intrigued in the farming industry, but I know the numbers just don't make sense when you purchase a farm.
Mm.
So I thought, well, what is the market providing for me to gain access to grow my wealth? And it was the housing industry. So I'm now I've looking back 3 years later, I've completely flip flopped my 10-year goal,
Mm.
and now my goal is to own over 50 houses, and I want them all to be in a particular area where I'm within 2 hours away. I like being able to build a community.
Yep.
And something that I really like about rentals, looking back on it, is that I'm providing jobs to people like me when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I like being able to provide jobs for people and provide living, and it's just that's one of my goals, is to really bring value to other people. So
Yeah. I mean, again, one of the things that I loved about my journey is, in the very beginning, I would buy what today people call turnkey, like the first several I bought that way. But where I started to find our niche was what I called slumlord properties, right? These are properties that frankly are so disgusting. It should be a crime to have people live there and pay rent. And one of the things that, I mean, some of these things should be torn down. But one of the things I really got passionate about was taking these slumlord properties and spending sometimes significant dollars gutting and revitalizing. There's just something about taking a non-performing, disgusting asset, putting in the labor, if you can do it yourself, or the money to turn it around. And I've seen entire streets. I remember there was a street on, I think it was Nevada, where we picked up 7 houses on like one block from one seller. And they were all disgusting. We remodeled those 7 over about a year. It took us about a year to get through them. And that street now, there's probably half the block's been remodeled now, because once we took the 7 ugly ones and made them the best ones, other people did the same thing. So, and dude, you're 23. You can do so many cool things over the next several decades. It's awesome. And again, keep documenting your story.
I appreciate that. And that's the route we're going to try to get into, is using the Burr method and following your goals in your school community to really learn how to grow. We're in our current first flip, or not flip. We're not flipping it. We're remodeling it and then keeping it as long-term rental, but we're going to do a reverse mortgage on it to go ahead and flip the next property as well that's already in our portfolio.
So why a reverse mortgage? What does that enable you to do?
We're going to pull out more money than we've even put into the deal. And
Sure.
it's going to allow us to have capital to fully do the next remodel on a lower interest loan.
So do you actually mean a reverse mortgage, or are you just getting a mortgage and taking equity out? Meaning, because there is something called a reverse mortgage.
It would be in a sense pulling equity after we get the new appraisal out.
Right. So I'm going to use some numbers, because again, vocabulary is important. Let's say you bought the house for 50, you put 25 in, it's now worth 150. I'm just making these numbers up. You're going to go back to the bank and you're going to take out $100,000, which is going to be all of the purchase, all of the repair, plus 25 grand, have a brand new mortgage. That's just a straight up traditional Burr. And you're going to walk away. So you would walk away in that example with, I don't know, 50 grand, because you pay off the first mortgage and then you'd have your repair money plus your equity. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So that's not a reverse mortgage.
Okay.
Reverse mortgage is something typically senior citizens get, where basically they're selling it, getting a payment until they die, and then the asset goes to somebody else. I hate reverse mortgages. They're kind of predatory. But yeah, you're just burring, and that's a great strategy. If you can make the numbers work. Burr was a lot easier in 2015 to 20. But if you have the numbers, and certainly the longer you sit on assets, I think you said you had this 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's a great strategy.
Mhm.
And again, if you haven't read my book, that's exactly what Olivia and I did for the first 3 years. I had no money. I had zero money after the first 3 properties. It was because of equity extraction,
Mhm.
that I could get the next 5. So again, when I was in growth mode, you better believe I'd go get that equity and keep rolling it forward. So same strategy.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We haven't decided exactly how leverage we're going to go or keep our portfolio. Obviously, we're on the side of more leverage because we're
Yeah.
fairly young, and we are
I,
taking very conservative routes, though.
yeah. The one thing I would tell you again in my book, My First Mistake, Norris Drive, don't like your lender might say what they told me is like, how much do you want? And I didn't know any better. I said, how much can you give me? And
Hmm.
they gave me a number. And again, I was naive. I was busy. I had a day job. I didn't look at the payment. I was shocked when I got the payment. And again, I don't remember the exact numbers, but let's say my payment was $1,250, but my rent was $1,100. So I was losing $150 before property management, before anything broke. So I would strongly suggest not creating what I call an alligator. You don't want negative cash flow.
Hmm.
So watch the leverage.
Yeah, right now, cash flow is actually what we are required to survive on because we're still in college. We don't have any way of having a job currently. So if it doesn't cash flow tremendously, then we can't do the deal. Um,
Wow. So you've built a portfolio. It used to be 5, now 4 while you're in college.
mhm.
You're just burying the lead, young man. What's up with that?
Well, so um,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted, I didn't know that you were in college. I thought you were a full-time real estate agent. So you're going to school to study what?
master's in tax. So I'll have my CPA hopefully within the next six
Wow.
months. Mhm.
Wow. We're going to have a CPA in the school community here pretty soon. That ought to be fun. Once you get that license, there are going to be a lot of people asking you questions. So be ready.
Yeah, I'll legally be able to give advice at that point. So
Yeah, let's go get that degree. Then we'll do another show. Yeah, actually, let's plan on that. Once you get your, I don't know what it's called, degree, certification, license, whatever it is, hit me up and we'll do another show, and we'll help build your practice a little.
that'd be great. That'd be so
Uh,
helpful.
of course, of course. So where do you want to be at 30? So you said 50 houses. Why 50? Is it that this is something I hear from a lot of people. Where do you want to be? I want 100. I want 50. What does 50 houses give you?
I believe that 50 houses in a near community gives me a huge impact on the community,
Okay.
meaning that I'm important to the community.
Mhm.
And I think at that level, at least on the number side of houses, these houses aren't 500,000 a piece
Right.
that I'm buying. So 50 houses makes sense on the number scale.
Mhm.
And at that scale, I don't think I'll ever have to be limited on the types of transactions I can help others with in the future.
Yeah, I like that. Um, you're again still in college, right? Really, really low expenses, I'm sure. But have you thought about what your monthly nut's going to be once you're graduated? Like monthly nut, of course, is slang for how much you spend every month, rent, food, insurance, all of that stuff. Have you started to ballpark how much money you might need to just pay the bills?
Well, it really determines on if I'm married or not.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, I'm single. I don't have anyone in that perspective yet. But as life goes on, I'm sure my
Yeah, of
motives will change. But right
course.
now, I see a very relatively cheap, under 4,000
Mhm.
a month, certainly
I
for
like
all my
that.
expenses.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
And again, you will eventually find that significant other. You may or may not eventually have kids, so it's wise. Because the reason I asked that question again is if you're talking about 50 homes, and I'm just going to ballpark $200 cash flow, that's 10 grand, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's more than 4 grand. So you're paying your life from your rentals, which gives you the ultimate freedom, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to work with terrible clients. You can fire clients without, worry. You could take a flyer on helping people. So that's a pretty good goal. Um, um, what else? What you have any other questions for me? Maybe.
I would love to know where your platform is going. I've been watching the numbers grow. I've been watching you grow from 100 people to 350. How far does this go? Where's your end goal on this platform?
So I would love to get to 1,000. And again, it's a nice round number. Really, I saw a difference when I got to 250. Before we were at 250, I had to do a lot of work to kind of get the community like responding. But once we got past 250 and certainly over 300 now, almost 350, I don't have to poke it, right? I am no longer the most active poster. We have 3 accountability groups, which is awesome, right? Jared, Max, and Frank. I would love to have accountability calls 7 days a week. I just created a ladies of ORAT subgroup, which is awesome. I think it's I think it very likely could be the most active. I would love the ORAT community to just continually grow and be like-minded individuals, even without me. I mean, if you don't know, my goal when I did my very first video sitting on my couch was to create something that outlives me by 50 years. So I really hope and believe that the school community will continue to thrive even if I'm dead. That's my hope. I mean, that's my long-term goal. And that's why I don't do marketing. I don't do all these other things. I just continue to give. And if people click, awesome. And if they don't, that's okay. Yeah. So I really believe that in a decade, the school community, the ORAT school community will be probably the thing I'm known for most. That'll be more than my best-selling book, One Rental at a Time. That'll be more than my YouTube channel, almost 64,000. I really think the school community will be what I'm known for. And hopefully in 5 years, if not 10 years for sure. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Something that I really appreciate about you is every day you bring value to your members and your community. And it's a lot different than when you go on Twitter or Instagram and you're watching nonsense all day. Getting on this community and reading it, you can, use your spare time to do this, and you're learning and you're growing yourself, and you can be a part of a community. It's really changing at least my spare time activities for the better.
Yeah. I think, again, I mean, there's so many things I've learned along the way that I'm trying to use technology just to help people. And one of the things early on that I had to figure out was who I was going to let in my circle, like who's going to be my 5 friends. And I don't know about you, but when I made the pivot from stocks to real estate, nobody else in my world was doing it. So I had to go seek new people. And one of the things I'm trying to do is provide that platform in school. Again, shout out Renee for the school map, which I think will foster it. Is I want to be that platform where people come together and start to make connections with other people in their markets with their experience, more or less. And it's so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch grow and really help people. So we won't grow the fastest. I mean, I know if I paid somebody to do ads or any of that stuff, we'd grow faster, but it's not the speed, it's the people. I want to make sure the right people are here. I want to make sure that if you're here, I want to make sure you're here and getting value, not just some, hey, come and go type. So, yeah, I'd rather grow slow with quality than fast with marketing.
And it makes it all more valuable. I think that there's going to be a point in the community where the 67 cents a day becomes invaluable to the amount of connections you're going to build. So that's why I'm really trying to do my part and stay a part of the community, get on there, post, and learn from others.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, once you get your license, we could do a session. We could do we could do, again, this is why I love the community, because they're go-givers. Like, again, just brainstorming. You could do a 90-minute session educating people on different terms, right? Because a lot of investing is vocabulary, right? And again, by giving value for 90 minutes, you close with a slide saying, hey, I'm a licensed CPA or EA. And if you want somebody to help you that understands real estate, reach out to me, right? So you get a little marketing at the end. But if you do 90 minutes of education and help, that's what I get from the communities. Everybody gives first, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's great. I think that one of the biggest challenges that I'm going to have in the future is determining which avenue I'm really going to focus on. I really love real estate, and I think I'm going to draw most of my attention towards building my portfolio. And then I also have this side hustle of, well, I'm going to have my CPA license. I'm going to open up my own CPA firm, but I think it's going to be correlated. I think it's going to be I'm working with investors specifically.
Well, yeah, what I would tell you is the number one request I get probably for the last decade is, Michael, I need a bookkeeper or an accountant that understands real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it doesn't exist. I mean, there's like 10 people, or, I don't know, maybe there's 100, but they're hard to find and they're very busy.
Mm-hmm.
So again, coming into this world, being a part of the community, being a known entity, I think you'll be shocked at how quick your book of business grows. Really do.
And that's the value of the community is, the different avenues you can take to build yourself or build your other businesses or brands. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you said real estate's your full-time job and being an EA or CPA is your side hustle. That made me chuckle internally. That was fun. That was awesome. So where can people find you? Obviously you're in school, Drew, but do you have other social media? You have a school community, right? That's free, I think.
I do. So I'm not big on Instagram or YouTube. I don't, like I said, I'm taking baby steps to moving towards those platforms. But I did start a school community, and something that I like about the school communities is it's just somewhere where you can just connect and people who want to be around you and want to hear the information you want to give. So mine's called Next Gen Rentals, and it's really for the younger side of investors to collaborate and really work through their struggles together.
So. Love that. And it's free, right? Currently free.
It's free. And I don't plan on giving any kind of price tag on it until I really necessarily feel that there's enough value to do that. So
awesome, Drew. Well, you're amazing, man. Thank you for being a part of the community. Again, let me know when you get your license. We'll help you grow your practice or whatever they call it. Tag him, tell him on school that he did a good job. Drew, you're amazing, man. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything.
You got it.